Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Cassie Knoll, and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. Here in East Tennessee, we have had some fall-like temperatures. On Sunday, the low at McGee-Tyson Airport was 52 degrees. That's the coolest that we've been since mid-May, and it's the coolest low that we've had this early in the fall season since 2017. We didn't get that cool until early October of last year, but over the West Coast, folks are dealing with scorching hot temperatures. In Phoenix, records are being broken when it comes to the heat. As of September 3rd, the airport reported 100 consecutive days of 100-degree temperatures. That is by far the longest streak on record. The previous record was 76 straight days in 1993. As of now, the Phoenix forecast is expected to stay in the triple digits through at least the end of this week. But there's more. Phoenix also set a new record for the most 110-degree days this year. They tied the record of 55 days set just last year in 2023 on September 4th. Then they broke the record on the 5th, and as of Monday, they have now had 60 days at or above 110 degrees this year. Reporter Colleen Sikora reports on the high number of heat-related deaths across the valley.
When it comes to heat in the valley, the feel,
it's been brutal,
and the statistics,
unfortunately looking forward to breaking records again for heat,
tell a similar story. Phoenix hitting triple-digit temps for the 100th day in a row, the longest streak ever, likely also to break the highest number of 110-plus degree days. Plus,
just in 2024, there's been 177 confirmed deaths related to heat.
That's slightly lower than this time last year. Maricopa County reporting more than 430 are under investigation, also lower than last year at this time. But a hotter than average September is expected.
We are prepared to extend our heat relief efforts.
Stephanie Martinez is with Circle the City, which provides medical care for people experiencing homelessness. This year, adding additional street medicine teams and providing IV hydration to patients to try and help, saying still the top concern, awareness that there is help and space to cool off.
Heat-wise, it's still just as hot, but as an organization, we have tried to meet a greater need the best that we can.
In the ER,
I'm glad that our public health system is getting better and responding to this.
Valley-wise emergency physician Frank Lavecchio seeing a difference from cooling centers available around the county to an all-hands-on-deck approach to treating heat stroke in the ER. Plus, patients being submerged in ice by Phoenix Fire before they get to the hospital.
At least anecdotally, and we are studying it, that seems to be saving lives.
Still warning, the heat takes a toll.
Heat, unfortunately, makes every disease worse, almost every disease. And what I mean by that, it'll make your diabetes worse, it'll make your asthma worse, it'll make you more prone to a heart attack if you have underlying heart disease.
Concerned people in the valley will grow tired of taking precautions in the record-breaking heat.
I think we need at least another month of being vigilant, of staying hydrated, staying in the shade, staying in the air conditioning, okay? Because unfortunately, this is not over.
Southern California is also seeing record heat. On Friday, the Hollywood Burbank Airport in the Los Angeles area hit 112 degrees. That marks only the third time since records began in 1877 that a high of 112 or higher has been reached there. The all-time record high for this site was 113 back in 2010. The Long Beach Airport saw 4 consecutive days of 110 degrees or hotter, tying the record for most consecutive days. And down in San Diego on Sunday, temperatures also set a new record. It was 109 degrees in northern San Diego County, beating the 104-degree record from 1944. Sacramento also hit a record for the most 100-degree days this year with 44 so far. And along with the record heat, wildfires are growing quickly in the western U.S. This is a look at where we're seeing air quality concerns from that dense smoke. Those darker oranges and reds over there in the western U.S. show those higher smoke concentrations. And yes, some of that is being brought down here into our skies in East Tennessee. In California, more than a dozen active fires are being fueled by the record-setting heat. The most dangerous, near Los Angeles, has already forced thousands to evacuate and even close schools. The line fire is burning in the San Bernardino National Forest. Hot temperatures, gusty winds, and low humidity over the weekend helped the fire to grow to more than 20,000 acres in size. The unpredictability of the flames is making this fire particularly dangerous, and 3 firefighters have been injured. At this time, more than 36,000 structures are threatened, and the fire is only 3% contained. Over in Sierra County, the Bear Fire has charred more than 3,000 acres. That fire started September 2nd and is burning in the Tahoe National Forest, according to the U.S. Forest Service. The Forest Service says that at one point, the fire threatened almost 300 structures, and evacuation orders are still in effect. The cause of the fire is not yet known. In Idaho, there are almost 24 fires burning there. The National Interagency Fire Center says that that's the most of any state in the whole nation. Some of those fires were reportedly started because of lightning strikes, and a lot of them are burning in dry terrain and spreading quickly. The Wapiti fire is the largest. It started at the end of July and is still burning. Now more than 120,000 acres in size and just 12% contained. Wildfires are torching land crucial for the survival of wildlife this winter, and the Idaho Fish and Game is preparing for the worst-case scenario. Reporter Audrielle Tackett found out how the agency is taking action.
The Idaho Fish and Game Commission says that maintaining wildlife through natural forage is the goal, but they do have an emergency feeding policy in place for extreme situations.
We do decide to do emergency feeding. We have a supply of food that is specifically designed for elk and deer species, and that's getting taken out and put on the ground at designated feed sites where it's deemed appropriate.
The full damage from the fires isn't known yet, since many are still burning. Emergency feeding will only occur if there is a significant risk to public safety, potential damage to private property, or a threat to survival of the herds.
Elk and deer herds have been living with fire for thousands and thousands of years, and herds generally are able to rebound. There aren't necessarily huge population level concerns in most cases because elk and deer have adapted alongside wildfire.
Fish and Game officials are closely monitoring the ever-changing fire situation. The agency is waiting for their winter feeding advisory committee to meet this fall. The fall meeting is earlier than normal because of the fires.
They are representatives within their communities. They are sort of our eyes and ears out there. And so they play a substantial role in advising our regional supervisor as to when winter feeding might be appropriate.
Proactive measures are already in process. Regional Communications Manager Brian Pearson says they've already planted 3,500 acres of winter cover crops with local landowners. Fish and Game is currently in preparation mode, hoping not to reach the emergency feeding state.
And back in California, the coastal city of Rancho Palos Verdes could be described as a geological ticking time bomb. The city sits atop steep cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean. For hundreds of years, those cliffs have been slowly shifting and giving way. Officials now say that movement is accelerating. It has shifted 13 inches per week in some places between July and August. Utility providers have had to cut electricity to some of those homes. And in other weather news, some folks in Colorado got the first snow of the season. Check this out. It was snowing at the top of Pikes Peak on September 5th. This 14,000-foot mountain is located just west of Colorado Springs in the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. These images are from the webcams at the Cog Railway platform at the summit. Our news here, we are seeing some movement in the tropics. We have Francine in the Gulf of Mexico here, likely to become a hurricane before it makes landfall along the Gulf Coast, likely near Louisiana. And officials are starting to prepare now for that landfall along the Gulf Coast, likely on Wednesday. In fact, in Louisiana, folks are already starting to pack up sandbags and get prepared along the coast. Evacuations have been issued in some locations, and we also have storm surge warnings in effect for some parts of the coastline where we could see storm surge up to 10 feet in depth. There you can see some of those sandbags being loaded right there. The storms are expected to bring 4 to 6 inches of heavy rain, which also could trigger flash flooding along the Gulf Coast from southern Texas to Louisiana and Mississippi into Thursday morning. That storm surge warning is in effect again along that Louisiana coast where the water could reach up to 10 feet above ground level, and that's why some folks have been asked to leave. Now, once Francine makes that landfall, we're going to see the system moving inland up the Mississippi River Valley and kind of stalling out over near West Tennessee. What that means for us in East Tennessee is that we actually may see some rain from that system at the end of this week. Now, the heaviest rainfall is going to be over to the west through parts of Mississippi and into Middle and West Tennessee. But over here in East Tennessee, Some of our area could see 1 to possibly 2 inches of rain. Now this is a look at the 7-day totals, but this would happen for Thursday, Friday, likely into Saturday, and maybe leaning into Sunday as well. Check back for updates to that forecast, but the rain is a good thing. We certainly need it with our drought conditions. The timing, though, could be a little better. We're going to have to watch to see how those showers and potential thunderstorms may impact our Friday night high school football games and possibly that fall football game at Neyland Stadium on Saturday evening. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you can always get the latest forecast with the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.